instead of cooperating and enriching each knowledge system, every knowledge system is trying to become very, very rigid. So they are more competing with each other rather than cooperating. Knowledge systems are evolved. It's not that overnight it happened. Some of the knowledge systems we'll deal with are little over 4.5, 5,000 years old. Okay. So they are evolved and are characterized by behavior of people who use or are dependent on this. Okay. Collection of human beings, individuals, even a small group of tribals have their own knowledge base on which they live. Generations together live on that. And of course, the practitioners and the followers of a knowledge system can be fundamentalists, can be practitioners, they can be simply observers, they can be skeptics or blind followers. So you have all kinds of people who use a common knowledge system, but not necessarily adhere to it with the same degree. This is apart from material aspect, which is very dominant in the last 200 years. One of the strongest factor that is impacting the knowledge system recently is the material, okay? Material based or related to the knowledge system, which is also dynamic. For example, why are we keeping so much of American dollars with us? We have close to some 400 billion, $400 billion dollars exchange kept with us, which is no use. You can't go to a vegetable shop here and give $1 and ask him to give you groceries. Yet the government keeps it. It's a new thing. Similarly, oil. The import of oil, the budget of the oil, the politics related to oil. Well, why is it that suddenly Middle East has become very important in the last 100 years? It has become very important in 100 years simply because they have oil. Okay. In fact, one of the largest American Air Force and Navy is permanently stationed in Saudi Arabia. Not because they are suddenly friends now, but America wants to protect its oil interest there. That's all. Okay. Now we can also see what's happening in Middle East. There's so many issues coming up. And all is centered around oil. Okay. Today it's oil. Tomorrow it could be lithium. So all these material and economic factors do impact the knowledge system. Let's look at some practical examples and insights so that we get some idea of what we are talking about. So very specific component like healthcare. So you have predominantly, even in India, an Ayurvedic and allopathic medical knowledge system. So it's not just a knowledge system, it's medical knowledge system. Specifically, it's Ayurvedic medical knowledge system and allopathic medical knowledge system. Okay. Now, are they cooperating? They are well defined. There are practitioners for that. There are people who prefer one over the other. There are people who denounce the other. Some people are mature enough to say, okay, you take this medicine now, but in the next 2-3 months, shift to Ayurveda so that you have long term. So all these things. Similarly, look at the education. You have a Gurukula model, the Madrasa model, the convent, the public schooling, whether the public schooling is state, CBSE, ICSE, whatever scheme. Even the economics. You have barter system, which still works today in remote rural areas and tribal colonies. You have commercial banking. You have post office banking, which gives 1% more interest. You have Islamic banking, which is not supposed to charge interest. You also have age-old money lenders even now working. So this is the economic knowledge system, which is a subset of all the other knowledge systems. Okay. Many or most of these are consolidated over centuries of use. For example, money lenders have been there for the last 4,000 years, well documented. Okay. These are influenced by cultural, socio-economic, political, and in recent times, resources and environment factors. They have also influenced the way the knowledge system is used. For example, you look now. We are selling sand and making money. We are also selling water now. 50 years back, sand was free. Water was free. Today we are selling. In another 20 years, we may even sell air. If you want to breathe, you may have to pay a price or a tax for that. It may happen. Already there are oxygen bars in cities because the air quality is so poor. People go to oxygen bar to refresh themselves. Now you can see what is closed and open. What is closed in this and what is open? You can't go to a commercial bank and ask them to allow you to do barter. You can't say you want loan, I will keep 50 kg tomato with you. They will not accept. Right? So, lot of these knowledge systems have evolved over centuries of use, and many of them are increasingly closed. They don't allow change easily. For example, you go to a commercial bank, you cannot get loan for cow dung. Cow dung is also a fertilizer, but you can get loan for fertilizer bag, chemical fertilizer bag. You cannot get loan for cow dung. You see the problem? So you can't go to bank and say, give us 1% more interest because post office gives. You can't go to a commercial bank and say, don't charge us interest because the Islamic banking is not supposed to. So what you must understand is, there are many concurrently running parallel knowledge components, and the whole mass of it is one knowledge system. Of course, it's not fully isolated. It's not fully closed. We will see what we need to do with such things. So how do we understand a knowledge system? All knowledge systems exhibit expressions either explicitly or implicitly or in a subtle manner during their use. So how do you know a knowledge system is working? You see it when it is being used by people or entities. Its characteristic can be seen in the way the society handles its economy, education, law and governance, gender and other equalities and inequalities. That tells you what the knowledge system is trying to say, or what it proposes, what it claims, what it enforces, whatever. Okay? Please don't talk in the middle, cross talk. Yeah. One can also infer from many socio-cultural and attitudinal aspects of its citizens, their behavior, conduct, and ethos. That is part of the knowledge system. For example, we are one of the very few group of people who have a festival called Vana Mahotsav. Why are we celebrating plants? Why are we are one of the few people we are celebrating the life of plants and trees. Okay? Unfortunately, many aspects of knowledge systems is linked with religious beliefs. That is one other issue. The way we have evolved in the last 4,000-5,000 years, many of our knowledge system components is also tied up with religious beliefs, practices, some of which are now purely cultural, etc. Okay? And this linking is either strong or moderate or even very subtle, most of the time very subtle, which means we are not fully free people. A famous song by Lennon of Beatles called Imagine, which is like an anthem for complete free human. What does it take for a person to be fully free? Which means the knowledge system, while it allows us to be secure and grow well, it also is like a jail which binds us into certain beliefs which we may not even accept. We blindly follow or we subscribe to it. Which knowledge system is right? There is nothing like a right knowledge system. Every knowledge system has its rights and wrongs, goods and bads, conditionals accepted and not accepted, all that. One thing we have to realize, all knowledge systems have evolved over time. Culture, geography, highly influenced by trade and interaction. Some less, some more. Some are lost over time. Some knowledge systems have disappeared. We have there's no trace of it. We don't even know what they were. Perhaps they were better than us. Perhaps they were worse than us. We don't know. And very interesting, why geography influences. For example, our knowledge system has Vana Mahotsav because the whole of Indian subcontinent was a forest. Whereas if you take any knowledge system in the Middle East or in the what one calls the Occidental, Western this thing, most of them came up in deserts and in very dry area. They have hardly have any trees. So they have no culture or no knowledge system which values trees. It's as simple. So what it means is geography and environment has played a very strong role in shaping the knowledge system where people exist. Okay. Of course, some have dramatic shifts from one knowledge system to another in the course of the nations. For example, Japan suddenly was a dominant Buddhist society. Even now, it's a strong Buddhist society, but it quickly changed into a Western knowledge system. And today, Japan is the leading industrial nation in the world. Okay. Similar things have happened in Turkey, though not completely. Lot of North and South America. 1,000, not even 1,000, about 700 years back, North America and South America were completely tribal and indigenous knowledge systems. Today, America is the leading Western knowledge system, and it has happened only over a period of 400 years. Same is China. China suddenly in 1950 disbanded the traditional Buddhist, Taoist, whatever knowledge system they had, and shifted into a strong industrial Western Marxist oriented. Same is Russia. Of course, North Korea, less said the better. Okay. But many have adapted or reformed. Many knowledge systems have not gone through dramatic shifts like this. They have adapted or reformed to add value to their knowledge system, lest it is found to be redundant, one way. So when large number of people don't subscribe to it, either you adapt or you will be discarded. This is what is happening. Okay. One way to sustain is to be very dynamic. Try to accommodate as many changes as it is needed, because eventually knowledge system exists only if people who practice exist. Okay. Many knowledge systems are outdated, rigidly deployed, mostly using undemocratic forces and violently. Many knowledge systems, many components of knowledge systems are not compatible with present circumstances, socially, economically, otherwise. Okay. It is a tough balance. It is tough since balance is needed and society changes much slower than an individual. For example, people quickly change their dress and food habits. Now you can see in Bangalore, majority of the people eat outside. And in 100 years, we are the world's leading cricket nation. 150 years back, there was no word of cricket in subcontinent. Today, you can see India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. They are among the leading cricket teams. So, people do not change the same way, same rate for all components. Today, you can see food. 50% of our urban food is now fast food. Okay. Food, sports, dress, these are things that change very quickly. Whereas other things, other components need not change so fast. So the balance is difficult because when you change a knowledge system or you accommodate change, it's not necessary that all good things come and all bad things are removed. No, you have no control over it. People pick what is convenient to them, what they are influenced by. And today, thanks to the social media, there is no need for parents or neighbors or children or peer group or siblings influence. They get influenced by people whom they will never meet physically in their life. Okay. So what knowledge systems now operate? There are many knowledge systems, shades of knowledge systems that abound the planet Earth. Many of them who may not even be fully clear what exactly they are using it, because it's quite blur. Only very isolated societies have maintained their original knowledge system and have little or no interaction with other knowledge system. There are examples like this in Andamans and in Amazon. There are many more examples, isolated knowledge systems existing. A great majority, however, use 2 to 3 different knowledge systems for different purposes. That's why we say we are not very integrated. We are cut up with too many things. For example, all of us, including this program, is a Western knowledge education system. But as I see in the video, many of you are using Indian dress. I am sure half an hour back you had a food which was an Indian food. Your living style at home and other things is closer to what is an Indian knowledge system. But we are now doing an activity which is a Western knowledge system. Okay. So many of us use 2 or 3 different kinds all the time. Have we synthesized it and found the best of all? No. We do what is convenient. Majority of the population everywhere in the world, humanity as such, do what is convenient, not necessarily what is purposeful. So what knowledge systems are in contention? The most dominant knowledge system is the Western or the modern or the developed economy or the scientific modern system. Okay. What this so-called Western knowledge system is mainly the original Greco-Roman model, which has evolved over time. We can see it most prevalent either in full or more than 50% in almost all countries of the world today. And with internet and mobile phone and others, this component will soon become 70%. 70% of our life is related to what the Western knowledge system believes and propagates. There are other knowledge systems like the Oriental, the Arab, Middle East, Indian, China, Chinese, Japanese, African, etc. We should be very cautious. While knowledge systems, while appearing to be characterized by historical and religious aspect, it is not so. In many cases, cultural, ideological, and technological factors have overruled. For example, when China shifted to a hardcore socialistic communist pattern, the first thing they did is almost banned all the religions, all the churches, all the mosques, all the temples, whatever, Buddhist. Okay. Same happened in Russia. Now, after Russia collapsed internally, now there is a great revival of the Orthodox Russian Church and all that. So, this cultural and ideological factors also play a very important role. And today, technological factors. Every child has a mobile phone. Everybody has a laptop. Almost all people wear jeans. Majority wear t-shirts. Okay. So, all the things which need not be part of our upbringing and our knowledge system from birth has taken a change. So which knowledge systems? Plenty exist. Now dominant knowledge system. The first one is the Western knowledge system, which we call it WKS. It's predominantly in Europe, North America, and China. Covers about 50% of the world population. Its other name is modern scientific system. It also relates to 75% of the world economy. That's one reason why the Western model is so influential, because the closest control over money in this world is by the Western knowledge system. Okay. Then there is another knowledge system, which is the Arabic knowledge system, predominantly in Middle East, North Africa, quite a lot in Indian subcontinent, Central Asia, Indonesia, and Malaysia. It covers about 30% of the world population. It controls 70% of the world petroleum economy. Okay. What Indian knowledge system? Is predominantly in Indian subcontinent. You find it in Southeast Asia, Tibet, Japan. Covers about 25% of the world population. It also relates to 25% of the world economy. Okay. These are the three dominant ones. There are many more which are not so dominant. And again, I want to emphasize that nobody lives exclusively by one knowledge system alone. We use mixture and different